Now in its fifth year running, the Screenmedia Expo 2012 is shaping up to be the biggest and best ever. Let's go and talk to some of the people inside. Hi, I'm here with Mr. Frank Larsen, who is the Vice President of Scala. Now, why don't you tell us a little bit about the presentation that you just gave about the new analytics technology that you've developed?
Yeah, advanced analytics is Scala's new go-to-market strategy. That we all know that presenting content on screens is what almost everyone do. We see the screen is passive made. It's all based on what we think will come next year. So content predictive analytics analyzes the conditions at the current time when we show content and compare it with POS systems. And this means we get the feedback based on conditions and the sales and the content. What are the correlations between this? And instead of just looking what we have done, we want to predict what will happen if. So predictive analytics actually tells us if, for instance, the weather is cold and the prices of gasoline is going down, we knew last time this influenced this kind of marketing. So what we do now is the sales within that specific products will be affected if we change, for instance, pricing or more marketing within that specific product.
Wow, so what you're talking about is kind of like a much more sort of real-time marketing management.
Of course, it requires a lot of data. So what we do is analyze. Typically, we analyze half a year within that customer, the shopping behavior of the customers, based on special conditions in the market in this area. We know that when this happens, this will influence this kind of sales and products. So if we can change that into now we know these are the conditions. We also know last time this happened, so we can change on the fly whatever happens. So the products are automatically adjusted, content adjusted all the time.
Wow, so it will kind of change forecasting, so it'll be much more accurate, and instead of being quite so retrospective, it'll be more current.
Exactly, we want to be proactive. Because normally all analytics has been into what happened in the past and then try to predict what can we do next. But here we do it on the fly. When it happens, we instantly, all the content throughout a global rollout will actually change immediately.
Wow, that's really, really, really exciting. So what else are you looking forward to in 2012 and 2013? What are some of the exciting things that you've seen done with your technologies?
We've seen lately that people want to interact with the systems. They want to interact directly. We have here in our booth that the customer can take over control of the content on the screen by, for instance, using a smartphone, scan a QR code, and then interactively control the screen. So they can control the content. They can even download what they see on screen and bring it home. And now that almost 60% is using smartphones, this is more into correspondence, because if you have a screen behind a glass, it's more a hassle to communicate, but with the QR codes you can do it directly, and you can go the step further and even bring it with you home.
Cool. So do you think that smartphone penetration has affected sort of like digital signage?
I definitely would say so. We expect to see everything on our smartphone, not only on large screens. We want to bring it home so we can read it while we're sitting in the bus. And a good example is real estate, and outside a bus stop. You are watching all it, but really want to have more time. And now the bus comes. What you can do is grab it instantly and bring it with the bus.
Yeah.
So the correlation between your digital signage and your smartphone is already there, and we need to embrace it, and that's what we do with Scala.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for having a chat to us today. That's Mr. Frank Larsen from Scala Technologies.